So this morning I'm over at Gaelic and we've got a couple of issues with a motorhome. So let's go and have a look at see what is going on. If you've not already, we're getting close, so close to 20,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button. So we've got this lovely motorhome behind us, which we've had an issue. I think very first of all we had an intermittent issue with the reversing camera. Tried a few different things and we just ended up swapping the complete lot, to be fair. So got that done, dusted and sorted on the way, and then we had the bloody customers going away and they've got a bit of a leak on the heater. So I think what had happened is one of these little fittings had just come loose or been knocked. I'm not too sure exactly what had happened, but we'd got a little leak and it was then collecting into the bottom tray. So really good time to sort of on your Caravan or your motorhome, when you're running the water system up, leave it pressurised for about 24 hours. Just go through all your little pipes and your fittings underneath your sinks and your taps, and just have a good look for leaks, especially even when you're using it. If anything gets knocked, little rubber seals that are in these especially, and even some of the taps, they're quite delicate, and normally they do try and put the fittings out of the way like that, but if they do get a bit of a knock or a bang or anything like that, and even just travelling, if you've gone over a big pothole or a big bump or something like that, things can happen, unfortunately. So got it down, got it all pressurised back up, and we're looking good now. So this has been on test now for I think we did it on the Tuesday afternoon and a Thursday morning now. So really good, really pleased that that is done, dusted. But then the other issue that we'd had, and we'd had a bit of an ongoing palaver with the door. At first we thought that we'd got a bit of a seal issue. There's an opening window in this, so it just adds an extra layer of confusion basically. We've got a little bit of a stream of water coming in on here, which we thought was coming from the actual seal. So went all through that, and basically what you can tend to do is on things like this, and it's same as your window rubbers, once the window is closed, if you put a little piece of paper in there, and then if you can pull the paper through nice and easily, obviously it's not sealing properly. And we've done that all the way around this rubber, and it seemed absolutely perfect. So I thought, well, maybe it's just literally, we've said it in the past about the seals going a little bit funny with the heat, so a little bit of silicone spray will normally sort them out. So we've done all of that, tested everything back through, and was like, yeah, it's pretty good now. There's no issues there. It's definitely spot on. And then we still had an issue, but it transpired that actually what was happening was that the seal between the door and the frame, you can actually see there when it's not closed up fully, we've got a little bit of daylight popping through. You can see that just there. So when the door isn't latched in, it can let a little bit of light through, and if the latch here isn't pulling the door in fully, then obviously we can get the same sort of a thing, that we can get a little bit of a leak between the frame and the door seal. One thing to double check on these sort of things is that if we've got any adjustment on the actual door, that the door hasn't dropped. Sometimes these doors will drop, and then it's obviously not catching the seal properly. So made sure that was all okay, and the door was sitting fine, to be fair. So the next thing on the list then was our bracket here. So once this is taken off, and there's two screws, there's normally little cap covers in there which are just on the side there. So we've taken the screws out, and that has then revealed our actual fittings on the door. So we've got two bolts at the back here, and then two screws in at the front here. So these are about hex 4 fitting. So we'll undo these back ones, and then pull it as far as it will possibly come this way on the adjustment. Sometimes once you've come as far as you can, the little front holes might not line up, so sometimes they might just need a little grinding out on the actual plate. So this plate has to come off, and then where we've got our little holes we have to grind them out very slightly, just make them a little bit bigger, and then it gives us a bit more adjustment. So that is exactly what we've done on this. So we've adjusted this now right fully out. So I'm going to put this back together. I'll give it a quick test, and then the final sort of test is to have somebody outside spraying that, give it a good 5 minutes of sort of water being sprayed, and then just make sure that we've not got any leaks coming back through. So I'm going to get this all finished back, put together. We can then, as I say, give it the final water test. We're going to lubricate that door as well, so we're going to put the silicone spray all around that seal, just to make sure, again, as I said before with the window seal, we'd been chasing our tail with that window seal, thinking it was that window seal that was causing our issue, but actually it's been the door. So getting all these tightened fully up, and these are a 10mm fitting on this side here. And then all that we've got to do is put our frame back on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to silicone spray all of that seal up so that we know that that is nice and supple, and there's nothing on there, there's nothing that's going to cause us any issues and let anything through. I'll close this up, and then we'll have somebody outside spray it all up with water. I'll be inside double checking it and just make sure that we've got no water coming through. Touch wood, we should be good. So we've got some silicone lube. Now if you've not been onto our Amazon shop already on Amazon, type in the Caravan Place Amazon shop and you should be able to find all of these products on there, plus loads of other different bits and pieces as well. So a good spraying up. I'm going to make sure all the frame is nice and clean, so we've got nothing on the frame. It was actually spotless already, to be fair, but just giving it another quick go over just to make sure there's nothing that they're holding that seal off and going to cause us any sort of issues. So what I'm going to do now, give that a good closing up. Make sure all the way around the seal again looks good. Can't see any daylight, anything like that. We'd actually already done the paper test on there, to be fair, but that is looking good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my second self to be outside, spray it with water, and then I'll be inside and I'll give it a good check. So I'm over at Garden Village and we've had a van that's just come in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you if you've got a caravan door, and if you've had any leaks or anything through the caravan door, the things that we could look at on a caravan door as opposed to the motorhome. So a lovely Bailey Unicorn Seville. This is literally just come in. Now on a caravan door, again where we'd mentioned about the motorhome about putting the door up and down and making sure that the actual door was sitting in the frame correctly, a little bit easier. We can literally undo all the little brackets on this door, and we can actually move the door up and down. So if the door doesn't actually look like it's sat in the frame correctly, so we've got the same gap all the way around, so we've got a nice gap at the bottom and then a nice gap all at the top. So if you were sort of stood inside the caravan, we're shutting the door and then we could see daylight, that's probably the first thing that you want to just make sure is that the door is of the correct height. And these are a lot easier to swap around than the motorhome doors, as I say, just literally undoing these brackets and we can slide that around. We then need to double check obviously the seal itself, so the rubber. So again, we'll go through the same thing, just make sure it's nice and clean. And then normally the way that these doors catch in is that they'll just catch onto a little piece of section here, so it's making sure that it's catching in and pulling in properly, and actually pulling it against it. And what you could possibly do is just pack this out here, so you could just fit an extra little piece of material onto here so it pulls tighter into the door if you're having a similar issue to what we've got on the motorhome. That is looking good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my second self to be outside, spray it with water, and then I'll be inside and I'll give it a good check. So I'm going to give it a good spraying up now and then a good looking around. It helps if we turn the tap on to actually get the water to come out. So it's like a technical issue there. And normally we wouldn't would sort of use more of a shower stream of water than a force of water. So yeah, so far so good. Again, obviously the rain that we've had has given everything a real good testing this last few months, so it's just then trying to replicate all the different scenarios, and again when you're sort of then testing it's the same whether it's a window, a door, roof light, it's just trying to replicate as though it was raining and then give it a good test. But amazing what difference the silicone spray, WD do it, Thetford, I think the Thetford normally is quite expensive, but you can use that then on all of your window rubbers and it will create a lot less headaches, and again you can see there now that absolutely spot on. So I'm fairly confident, we will just keep it going for a bit longer, but I'm fairly confident that that is good. Something else that we're going to be doing on this van is swapping the Fiamma handle. So that's our next job, or that's my next job. And basically to swap the Fiamma handle, we have these little brackets. So I've got one bracket here that will have 4 screws on. 2 of the screws are there, and then unfortunately the other 2 screws are in the back of this cupboard, so I'm going to end up using a big socket with the correct head on, and that will hopefully get in behind the cupboard and allow me into those screws at the back. So hopefully that will then just be a quick swap over. While I'm here, just checking this window as well, because again originally we thought that the leak was on this window and we've been sort of concentrating all of our efforts on that. So again, just double checking that, but we are pretty good. That has been on now for a good 5 minutes and we've not had a tiny little bit coming through at all, so fingers crossed we've cracked it. Hopefully that is sorted. So coming up next, as I say, is that handle. I might split this, I might do this next week, I might put it in on this video, so let's see what happens. Now, I've mentioned it before, we've still got our Facebook page, our marketplace, so sort of if you're looking to sell your caravan, your motorhome, individual little items, etc., check out, go over to the Caravan Place Facebook page, and on our Facebook page you'll be able to find the link to the marketplace where you can either sell, advertise, or look at items that are on there. I think there's a few people that put things on already and they have sold, so I'm trying to build that up. Head over there and have a look at the Facebook page. And that's about it. We will see you next week. Thanks for watching our Mark at the Caravan Place.